Some days, I feel like this club just really gets me. And then there are days where they just make me feel like I can't even bring my own food in the stadium. We're back. And welcome to part, I guess, 3 of 4, maybe part 1 of 2. It's kind of confusing, but I'm doing videos off of this specific poll that I made on X. Shameless plug, please follow me if you're a Grimsby Town supporter. I will follow back. And because of this poll, I decided let's do 5 strikers and goalkeepers that we should sign if we're in League 2 and or League 1. Well, it can't be an and, but or League 1, depending on what happens with promotion, right? So in this particular video, we've already covered the strikers, which if you have not seen those videos, please do me a favor. Don't make me beg. And go back and watch those and type the comments and tell me what you think. But in the next 2 videos, we're going to be covering goalkeepers. And we're going to start off with, we're going to end on a high note. And because of that, we're going to start off with League 2 targets that we should get this summer. And before we get into the actual video, just know this. This is no disrespect to any goalkeeper we have on the roster. It's just personal opinion and conversation of guys that we potentially should look at according to me and my opinions. So let's get into the video. So we're going to kick off the video with a young keeper. I believe he's 22 currently. And at one point, he was looked at as the next guy for this club, which is Queen's Park Rangers. And the particular goalkeeper that I'm talking about, his name is Joe Walsh. He, like I said, at one point, he was kind of dubbed the next goalkeeper at QPR. But their current guy, I think his name is Nadi or something like that. He's came in and pretty much took it by the reins, and he's not going to let it go. So QPR tends to be a little secretive with their contracts, but from what I understand, Walsh's contract currently ends this summer, so he would be on a free. He looked good at Stanley when he was there for a little bit before he got hurt. I think he's one of those guys that is a legit young prospect that we could build around for the future. And I do think that if we have a veteran backup, which I'll get into in a second, this is just experience that is invaluable for a young keeper. And I think he does need to play. And if we get the opportunity to snag him up, I think we should jump on it. So speaking of said veteran backup, I think there is a man whose contract ends this summer that we should seriously consider looking into. And if Jordan Wright is our guy moving forward, then awesome. Either way, I think this is someone that we should be looking into, whether it be someone like Walsh or Wright moving forward, whatever the case may be. I think we need a legit tested veteran as a backup either way that could jump in case of an injury, and we're not necessarily going to be like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We need to look into emergency loan. Or someone who could be a spot starter, maybe perhaps when a young keeper's struggling, or even just someone to challenge that young keeper to make them feel a little bit uneasy about their job and keep their performance up. And that man that I'm thinking of, his name is Sam Slocum, which we all know. We actually saw him not too long ago when we played Knots, when their starter, I can't think of his name, is it Bass? Gosh, it's out of my head right now. But he came in around the 20th minute, I think, to fill in for an injury. So again, he's going to be a veteran. I assume he's probably going to be a wealth of knowledge, like a lot of veteran keepers are. For everything else I just said, I think the price would be I think it would be pretty fair at this point in his career. I would love to have someone like Sam come in. No offense to Eastwood, but it's just I would rather someone who's been there for at least a decade, right? And can just bring in something, right? And that's why I'm going to go with him with my veteran pick in this video. So let's move on to the next one. So at the midpoint of my video, I'm going to go with probably the least popular on my on this list, at least from a reputation as of today's standpoint, and that is Harry Lewis from Carlisle. And inevitably, I think they're going to get relegated, like I've mentioned in the past. And I think Gabe Breeze is probably who they should go with for National League play. I believe Lewis, if he doesn't get cut or opt out or whatever his contract situation is, he's only got 1 year left either way. But if we couldn't get him on a free, I think it would be pretty cheap to get him. Something kind of interesting about him is his grandpa played over 600 league games. So there's a trivia night question for you in case he does inevitably, maybe perhaps come to Grimsby. But he's not looked good for Carlisle. I'll completely admit it. If you type in his name on X right now, you're going to see a lot of people complaining about him, and understandably so. But my question is, who has looked good for Carlisle over the course of the whole year? They've not had a lot to cheer about, and that's unfortunate because I do think they're a club that belongs at this level, or doesn't belong in the National League, I guess I should say. I hope they figure it out. I think they actually have an American owner. Maybe I shouldn't mention that in a video like this, but either way, Lewis comes with League One and League Two experience. I think he's someone that I don't know if he's necessarily that much of an upgrade, but he is someone that I would love to have at least in the goalkeeper dressing room. So don't rev me up too far on that. We're going to end this video with two promising people, I promise. At number 4, I have, and you know what? A lot of people that are going to be watching this are obviously English. There's going to be a couple of Americans that watch this. So I'm going to try to make everybody happy with this pick. And this is going to be a trust me pick, because I promise if you look this guy up, you're going to see what I see. And this particular individual is actually a English American, and I believe Nigerian. Is that called a tri-national, I guess? So he is 6'7", and he needs to play. Trust me. He's one of those guys where when he gets his chance, he's not going to look back. And that is Chituru Odunse. And he is Igbo from Nigeria. And he's a Chelsea and a Leicester youth player. And for some reason, I wanted to say he played for Wolverhampton as well for the youth, but that doesn't show up on any of his, or at least it didn't show up in his player profile. But I would promise you that he did, but maybe I'm making that up. At 14 years old, he actually went on trial at Cardiff City. So to me, he's just one of those. He's just one of those gems that's waiting to be picked up, and he's just a towering figure too. I've seen him play at the USL level, which is essentially the second tier here in the US. I've seen him play a few games, and he has looked very good. One of the things about MLS, which, by the way, if you know anything about me and my posts on X or anything like that, I cannot stand MLS. He's basically going to be lucky to be the third choice goalkeeper for Charlotte, which is where Zaha plays now, by the way, if you're a fan of him. And that's why he got loaned out to the USL last year, is because there's just no spot for him on the team. And MLS is no longer really a retirement league. In fact, I think they should take the develop young player and sell them approach, but it's almost like they don't really want to do that either. So they're caught up in this, we're going to waste young talent for older talent to sell jerseys kind of stage, and that's kind of where Odunse is stuck at right now with Charlotte, because their first choice and second choice. Their first choice has a big name. Their second choice used to be an American international. So there's just no spot for him right now. And I don't think just you guys just got to trust me. I've been corrected. I know it's the boardroom now, not front office. Shout out. So I'm do everything you can to get this guy on the radar. Use your voice to get this guy on the radar. Just trust me, trust me, trust me. And if I'm wrong, you all can take all the shots you want at me. But his name needs to be in the boardroom. Just do it. Trust me. So you've made it to number 5, which is the cringe American portion of the show, where I'm going to do something that I know pretty much everyone here hates. And I'm doing this for a specific reason because I promise it does lead to my pick. I don't know if you can see on the camera or not, but if I were alive 3 generations ago, I would have grown up in Ballymena. And because of that, I'm a little partial to Northern Irish players. And it's probably the player pool that I keep up with the most, other than obviously American and Nigerian. So where am I going with this? Well, there is a North Irish, well, he's not even a youth player at this point. He's been senior capped, I believe, 4 or 5 times. Goalkeeper who is out of contract. And his name is Pierce Charles. I'm sure some of you all may have heard of him. He plays at Wednesday. Unless I'm incorrect, his contract is up this summer. And although I feel like they would probably do everything they can to perhaps re-sign him, but on the off chance they don't, I don't see why we couldn't at least put in a bid, because we can probably offer something that he would never get at Wednesday, which is playing time. And I do think he is someone who has a higher ceiling than anyone on the squad. And he's also got a lower floor, I think, or higher floor. I don't know how to say that, but you know what I mean. Than anyone else on the squad as well. He's a legit piece that this team can build around for quite a while, especially if we are challenging again next year for a League One spot. So that's how I'm ending my list. Thanks for sticking to the end. I appreciate your view as always. Trust me, like I've said in the past, that is something I don't take lightly. Time is precious, and thank you so much for allowing me to get a little bit of your time. And while you're here, please, please, please drop a like. If you don't want to subscribe, I completely understand, but at least drop a like. It helps me out quite a bit and gets me on more people's radars. Let me know what you thought of my list. If you liked any of these guys, let me know. If there's anybody that you think we should go after if we stay in League 2, also, please comment and let me know. I would love to have these conversations with you all. That said, everybody have a safe week, and be nice to each other.